Hey everyone, it's Brano, and I wanted to do a slightly different video. Uh, I wanted to talk about the video game business, specifically with Larian, and why I'm concerned about their future in 10 years. And I want to just say that I have not played Baldur's Gate 3, but Divinity Original Sin 2 is in my top 10. I only got to play it because I was unemployed for a period of time and I played it during that period. It was awesome. And I am waiting for a long period of time where I can just play Baldur's Gate 3 and focus on that for a couple weeks because God, these games take a while and I really want to take my time and smell the roses when playing this game and I will be obsessed with it. So, one of the things you got to remember is that video games are a buyer's market. And as time has gone on, they have only become more of a buyer's market as the barrier to even participate and compete is getting quite low to where anyone with an above average IQ can actually make a video game. Doesn't mean they can make a good video game. I'm still struggling with that, but they can make a video game. And, you do have to be a bit delusional to actually try and succeed with the video games. But you do have to have a sense of realism. And Tim Kaine is a very interesting example because he's talked a lot about how his company Trica he ran it very idealistically, like he made everything incredibly equal. And you can see a bit of Animal Farm going on where his co-founder, and a couple of other people were the horse that does all the work. And there's a lot of other people who are like, yeah, I'm doing my bit. But at the same time, they're just kind of procrastinating and then maybe crunching at the end to get features. And it's just like, hey, if you don't do this, the game gets worse. And like, whatever. So the horses have to crunch more. You have to be pretty pragmatic when it comes down to the business, especially as an indie dev. I have seen already in my short period of like participating in the local community a lot of turnover. And especially in online communities, you see so much more failures than anyone would have ever expected there to be. You see so many unfinished games and thrown out games and just, things that do not meet games that people have put in 5 years in and then they abandon because they know that they can't finish it, or they finally accept this is shit. No one's going to enjoy it. I give up. And then they give up on game dev entirely. You see a lot of that. And, you realize that the business is crazy, especially where I live, where we used to have a AAA company in Canberra, and then it got kind of gutted. And, well, it didn't get gutted, it just got removed. And there's been nothing that replaces it since that period of time. So you kind of have to bring in the money in order for people to have stable careers. And yeah, people will get better as they continue to do and make games for longer and longer, although their creativity will become more and more narrow as time goes on. Most likely depends on the person. And unfortunately, one of the things that I have had to realize is that Bobby Kotick was a really good CEO. Andrew Wilson is also a really good CEO. It hurts to say, because I was not a big fan of Bobby growing up. I still don't really like him as a gamer, but that guy knew business. Andrew Wilson knew business. John Riccitiello did not know business. That guy is not a good CEO. He got carried because of sports, and then Andrew Wilson basically made EA a lot of money. But yeah, so people don't like those people, though, and I don't blame gamers for disliking those people, because at the end of the day, it's a buyer's market, and all they want is the best games for the best price. and they will champion people who are doing it the old-fashioned way, which is where Larian comes into this conversation, because they're currently doing a bit of a victory lap after the success of Baldur's Gate 3. Once again, I do want to eventually play it. I played one of their other CRPGs and loved it. We'll do it when I have a bunch of time. Anyway, I'm concerned for Larian, because they have a box model approach to video games. And they have 470 employees as of 2024, so they probably have a employee cost of $25 to $40 million per year. I'm not sure how much it would be. It depends on location. They're not located in California, which gives them an advantage comparatively. And, you know, considering that they're going to have to spend 3 to 5 years to actually make and complete their next game, they're going to have to sell a couple $1 million in order to break even with the game. And the issue with the box model and the single player approach, and like just the one-off approach, and this CEO very recently said, is that single player games aren't dead, they've just got to be good. I would reiterate on that. When you have the possibility of your single player games costing close to 100 million, potentially more, you have to have not a good game, you have to have an amazing game. And while you are kind of like riding off the highs of Baldur's Gate 3 and have probably a bit of excess capital, I've seen a lot of studios that were once great sleep into like only making decent to okay games, even mediocre. Like, if for any reason they're not able to capture the non-CRPG audience and make them want to play a CRPG, there's gonna be some potential issues, because like with a game like a company like FromSource, their games were typically getting better as time goes on, but of course they made Elden Ring, and I don't think they're gonna top Elden Ring for a while, unless they really go just extreme with it, which could be the case. But like, I don't think that Larian was planning on outdoing Baldur's Gate 3 for the next game, and so they may not be able to sell as much copies as they, I guess, think they are. And I mean, they've got to create an amazing game. They're in a position, their business model is that if we are able to make games that Jeff Kiley will announce on the Video Game Awards, we're good. We're totally fine. But if they kind of like, if they don't, where are they going to be? Because the games are going to cost probably in the high tens of millions, if not breaking the $100 million barrier. They need to make a lot of money in order for these video games to succeed now. And I don't think that Larian quite own, like, they don't have the IP that like millions and millions and millions of people are emotionally invested into, like, compared to like Blizzard, who's stopped making these great amazing games. The difference, of course, is that Blizzard has a lot of live services, and they have like people who are super invested in the IPs. So they can get away with making pretty mediocre games nowadays. Like, does Larian really have the business model where they can survive the turbulence of not making a better game than they've currently made? Now, obviously, they could just continually make amazing games throughout. But if they get a little bit of turbulence, if people get a little bit tired of CRPGs, which, you know, in the past, that kind of has been the case, are they gonna be healthy? I'm not too sure about that. But either way, the solution for them in their business model, and for me, is to just make great games. That is always going to be the answer to a lot of different problems. Only issue is that that's a really hard solution to do multiple times in a row, especially when you are dependent on doing it multiple times in a row. So good luck to Larian. I look forward to eventually playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm getting pretty close to releasing my own game itself, so we'll see how that goes, and see you in the next one.